She walked out of the courthouse carrying nothing but a small suitcase and a folder of divorce papers. Her face was calm, her eyes were dry, and her steps never slowed. Behind her stood the man who had once believed she would beg him to stay forever. He waited for her to turn around just once, expecting regret, tears, or hesitation. But she never looked back. In that single moment, the life he had built on pride and control began to collapse, while the woman he thought was too weak to survive alone quietly stepped into her freedom. Before we continue, if you believe kindness is never a weakness and that everyone deserves a second chance, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us bring more emotional stories like this every week. For nearly 15 years, Emma had shaped her entire life around her husband, Daniel. She had left a promising career after the birth of their first child because Daniel insisted that a good mother belonged at home. At first, his words sounded loving. He promised to provide everything she could ever need. He told her she would never have to worry about money, work, or responsibility again. She believed him because she loved him more than she loved her own dreams. As the years passed, Daniel's confidence slowly transformed into control. Every decision belonged to him. Every financial choice required his approval. Every compliment Emma received from others somehow became a reason for him to criticize her later. He constantly reminded her that she depended on him for everything. Whenever they argued, he would calmly tell her that she had nowhere else to go and no way to survive without him. Those words became chains that wrapped around her heart little by little until she almost believed they were true. Emma stopped recognizing the woman she saw in the mirror. The cheerful young graduate who once dreamed of traveling, building a career, and helping others had disappeared beneath years of silence. She smiled for family photos, hosted birthday parties, and pretended everything was perfect. Friends admired their beautiful house, expensive vacations, and comfortable lifestyle, never realizing how lonely she felt inside walls that looked so perfect from the outside. The turning point came quietly, not through a dramatic argument but through a simple moment. One afternoon, Emma found her daughter sitting alone in her room, drawing a picture of their family. In the drawing, Daniel stood tall with bright colors while Emma appeared as a tiny gray figure in the corner. When Emma asked why she drew her that way, her daughter innocently replied that mothers were supposed to stay quiet because fathers made all the important decisions. Those words shattered something inside Emma. She realized her daughter wasn't just watching their marriage. She was learning from it. The example she accepted today could become the life her daughter chose tomorrow. For the first time in years, Emma understood that staying wasn't protecting her family anymore. It was teaching them that love meant losing yourself. She began rebuilding her confidence in secret. Every night after everyone went to bed, she took online courses. She updated skills she hadn't used in over a decade. She read books about confidence, independence, and emotional healing. She applied for remote freelance work using an old laptop hidden inside a closet. Her first paycheck wasn't large, but it represented something priceless. It proved she could still stand on her own feet. Months passed, and every small achievement became another brick in the foundation of her new life. She quietly saved money, consulted a lawyer, and created a careful plan. Daniel noticed nothing because he never imagined Emma could make important decisions without asking him first. Then came the evening everything changed. Daniel arrived home after another long day at work expecting dinner to be ready. Instead, he found packed suitcases near the front door and neatly organized documents on the dining table. Emma stood calmly beside them with a peaceful expression he had never seen before. He laughed at first because he assumed it was another emotional reaction that would disappear overnight. He confidently reminded her that she couldn't survive without his money, his house, or his support. He believed those familiar words would once again convince her to stay. But this time, something was different. Emma simply picked up her suitcase, collected the divorce papers, and walked toward the door. She didn't argue. She didn't cry. She didn't ask for another chance. The silence frightened Daniel far more than any shouting ever could. Days later, he watched her leave the courthouse after filing the final paperwork. He stood frozen, waiting for one last glance over her shoulder. None came. For the first time in his life, Daniel experienced complete silence inside a home that once revolved around him. The dinners disappeared. The laughter faded. Even the expensive furniture seemed strangely empty. Success at work no longer felt satisfying because there was no one waiting to celebrate with him. Meanwhile, Emma's life slowly transformed. She accepted a full-time position with a growing company that valued her experience more than she ever expected. Her confidence returned piece by piece. She rented a modest apartment filled with sunlight instead of luxury. It wasn't large, but every corner belonged to her choices. Her children noticed the difference before anyone else. Their mother smiled more often. She laughed without fear. Weekend breakfasts became moments of genuine happiness instead of tense silence. They discovered that peace could exist even without a perfect-looking family. Daniel attempted several times to reconnect. At first, he apologized because he missed the comfort she had provided. Later, he apologized because he finally understood the pain he had caused. He attended counseling, reflected on years of selfish behavior, and recognized how deeply his need for control had damaged the people he loved. But growth does not always restore what has been broken. Emma appreciated his honesty but refused to return to the life she had escaped. Forgiveness did not require rebuilding the same relationship. She wished him healing while continuing her own journey forward. Years later, they attended their daughter's college graduation. Sitting several rows apart, they watched the confident young woman receive her diploma with tears of pride in their eyes. Their daughter later admitted that watching her mother choose self-respect over fear had taught her the most valuable lesson of her life. She learned that real love never demands the disappearance of someone's identity. Daniel quietly realized that he had spent years believing strength meant being needed. Only after losing Emma did he understand that true strength comes from giving someone the freedom to stay by choice instead of keeping them through fear. Emma walked through life carrying invisible scars, but those scars no longer defined her. They reminded her how far she had come. Every sunrise represented another day she had chosen courage over comfort, dignity over dependence, and hope over fear. Her story became proof that starting over is never easy, but sometimes it is the bravest decision a person can ever make. The greatest victory wasn't winning a divorce or building a successful career. It was rediscovering the woman she had almost forgotten beneath years of believing someone else's version of her worth. If this story has touched your heart, please write in the comments, "Self-respect is the beginning of true freedom." We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. As this story comes to an end, remember that no one should ever lose themselves to keep someone else happy. If this journey inspired you or reminded you of someone you love, please like this video, share it with others, leave your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. Your support allows these stories of hope, healing, and second chances to reach more hearts around the world. Sometimes the strongest goodbye is the one spoken without a single word, and sometimes the most beautiful beginning starts the moment you stop looking back.